guys, thanks for tuning in. This is OPTIBOTIMUS coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Arcee. And after almost 30 years, Hasbro has finally decided to give us kind of a G1 representation of the character. And a lot of it has to do, in large part, to the IDW comics. Arcee's a fairly prominent character in the new ongoing series, and this was a great way for Hasbro to visit this actual character in terms of toy form and give us one that looks like that G1 Arcee that we all know. For the packaging though, you can see you got the nice figure right there. You got her comic book in the background, which may or may not feature her, who knows. You can see that as part of the Thrilling 30 line. Come around here to the side, she's number 21 in Series 2. Come around here to the bottom, you got Scoop, you got Wingblade also available. You come around here to the back, of course you got her tech specs as well as her Cybertronian cruiser mode, as well as her robot form. And then it says, Arcee is one of the most dangerous Autobots, despite her comparatively small size. She believes the Decepticons must be stopped at all costs. That belief, combined with her combat training, makes her a pure warrior, a hunter who mixes speed and sudden action to strike Decepticon targets whenever she can. So it doesn't really give us too much of a background on her, but here we have her. Finally we have Arcee. And now the question is, do you put her with your G1 toys, or do you put her with your classic toys? I guess we'll find out, but beyond that, that's about it for the packaging. So without further ado, let's finally get Arcee opened up and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Arcee opened up and out of her packaging. I'm really absolutely amazed at how G1 this figure is, despite the fact that it is now more or less designed to kind of recapture that comic book look that she has right now in the ongoing IDW series. This is terrific. I mean, they did a great job of making that new character really homage that original character. And this vehicle mode really captures that same likeness. Now, she's got her little Energon sword things here that can peg on here on the side. The weapon storage is actually pretty good on here. She comes with two of these swords, and she also comes with two guns that are nicely stored. You come around here to the bottom, you can see that one of the guns is stored here, whereas the other one is kind of stored here in the middle. But, I mean, that looks absolutely wonderful. It's great. I love how she's got this nice little open cockpit area. You can see that she's got a couple little seats right inside there. Got a really nice Autobot logo in the front. You got some blue bits painted right in here, giving her headlights. Come around here. I mean, all the paint details on here are really very nice. She does have very thin wheels, which doesn't bother me all that much because, I mean, she's supposed to be a futuristic kind of car, and it works for that with those thin wheels. You can see that when she does have her weapons in there, it doesn't really create too much of a clearance issue. She still rolls fairly well. You just really have to make sure everything is squished up there perfectly. She's got her nice little crest right here, which is very iconic to the actual character. And really having this, while yes, it is a very nice G1 representation of her, I don't feel that it fits in the G1 or in a G1 display. This is really perfect for classics. So as I mentioned in the beginning part, there's really not much of a question whether or not this is a G1 figure or a classic one. For me, it's absolutely a classic figure. Now, like I said, her storage right down here, you can remove these. They peg in there, and then this pulls out. This is kind of tough to do. Separate these off to the side, put her hands back underneath there. I mean, you can see that getting that all in there. It actually makes these a little bit more stable. I don't know necessarily if these are the proper places for this, but there's no real other place. Well, I guess she kind of has little pegs right here along the side that she could hold on to right underneath here, but it's not very easy to get her to hold those. So it really does seem, and the instructions don't touch on this, that this is meant to go inside here right there, and then these bits right here come around here and hold the handle. That just kind of stabilizes the hand. So I really like that the storage is actually part of the engineering, which allows you to put her hands in a position that solidify them in a position. I think that's really cool. So setting these off to the side. Now for a transformation, again, it is very simple. There isn't really much to it. You're going to take these legs, kind of loosen these up from the side, take this back section, lift this up, and then you're going to tuck this under just like so. Take these legs, rotate these around, and then you can see that this section right here collapses in just like that. Do that on both sides. Straighten out her little feet, and I'm very happy that the feet are very solid. One thing I was worried about is a female Transformer, a lot of them usually have very small feet. She does too, but the joints, at least on mine, are really nice and tight. Hopefully that's not true of all the figures themselves. Take these arms, you're going to angle these down just like that. This section here will flip forward. Then you want to separate this. You're going to bring that down. And then this whole section separates back. And you can see little rounded bits right here that, as you bring them down, are going to slot over her shoulders. And then you just push everything down, locking that into place. And then this section here, you push forward and that tabs in there. Bring this down. Make sure that's all situated. Bring this head back. That'll lock into place. Bring the arms out. Straighten everything, and very simply, there you have Arcee in a robot mode. And while Arcee may fall short in terms of representing a G1 toy, this figure absolutely nails the look for the G1 cartoon. I absolutely adore this. This is such a great looking figure. Arcee really has always been a favorite of mine, and I'm so happy that they finally did the character justice. And Arcee was the first real prominent female in the Transformer franchise. Now, she's not the first female that we got in Transformers, but she really is the most front and center of them. We got Alita 1, we did get Chromia. I mean, a lot of those characters were there, but Arcee was one of the first main characters to be female, and I think that this is a great representation of it. All the way down, when you take a look at her head sculpt, all the way down to, well, her Princess Leia looking head to just her overall body proportions. I do like one thing that they did with this is they gave her a really nice real look to her, kind of giving that accurate modern day female look. I mean, she's got hips, she's got thighs. I mean, it's a much nicer representation of how a real female would look, and I think it looks great. It doesn't give a bad body image for women. You know, it doesn't stick to a Barbie doll kind of look. I absolutely love it. As you can see, you can have her holding her guns. Now, somebody, I think, I don't remember who it was, but did report that there's two different versions of her where there's a slight remolding, and I just pulled her head up, of her actual hands. As you can see, mine are the closed fists. There's remolded ones that are coming out that have a more of an open fist where there's not a connection here with it. So whatever you get, I mean, I don't really have much of a preference or anything. I love the light piping that she's also getting, but you can take her swords, you can peg them underneath here if you wanted to, bring that down and stick those in there. I mean, there's all sorts of different possibilities for storage. I mean, you could have that. I guess you can have her holding them. You can have these on the sides, giving her like some energon blades, which is really very nice. Kind of throws back, I think, to maybe the Transformers Prime Arcee, where she had the blades on her forearms here. I kind of dig that, although I'm having a hard time getting this peg in there for some reason. There you go. I like how the actual blade also contours around the back of her wrist and her forearm. It kind of goes along with it. It's harder to see, but I think that looks great. Now, the guns you can bring around here to the side. She's got these little tabs right there that you can have tab on the guns on her thighs like so if you really wanted to. It's all personal preference. I mean, for me, I don't care too much about these swords. It's not a big deal for me, but the guns I absolutely love. Now, for her articulation, the head's on a really nice ball joint, so you get a full range of motion with that. I mean, you get that looking all the way up, a great range of motion. You can see really nice light piping coming through there. You got that really big light pipe piece of plastic there in the back. I mean, it's massive. Look how big that is. Her shoulders here are on ball joints, so you get a full range of motion there. The upper part of the bicep rotates. You've got some nice ratchet joints here at her elbow, and you can see very far range of motion there. Absolutely dig that. Come down here to the waist. Unfortunately, there's nothing really there at her waist. All of this is kind of locked in there, so I don't see how you could actually do that. Plus, the front part here kind of folds in and it fills in that gap, so I don't really see how they could get a waist joint in there. The hips move forward and back. They move in and out a little. You can, if you kind of separate it from the transformation, you can get a wider stance, but I think that kind of makes it look a little bit weird. It does rotate just above the knee. It's got a joint here to move forward and back at the knee, and then the angles also move forward and back. They don't pivot or anything, which is a little unfortunate, but they are very strong joints, so I do appreciate that because you can get her to stand perfectly fine. She does have a bit of a backpack. There's nothing really that you can do about that, and honestly, it doesn't bug me too much because it's very similar to how her character model looked, so it works okay, but I think she scales perfectly with the other classic figures. So for a size comparison, here she is, and here you have her next to Cup, Voyager class Springer, and Deluxe class Rodimus. Now these two are a little bit newer figures. This is a Deluxe, this is a Voyager, but you can see that the original classic version of Rodimus is pretty small, especially when you compare him to the Arcee here. But honestly, I do dig the scale. I think it works. And like I said, she's going in my classic display, so this is where I'm going to have her. And generally speaking, I think that this looks nice. Now, to transform her back, it is, again, very easy to do. First, you want to separate this from the pelvis area, I guess. Kind of lift this, kind of bring that forward, lift this up, and that's going to tuck underneath there, and extend this all the way up like that. And then you bring this around, bring your head back, and then this piece right here comes up, locks into place just like so. Make sure her head's straightened. Then take this, fold this down right there, lift her shoulders up along this side, kind of leaving it like that. Take her hips here, spread those out, and kind of get these out of the way like that. Bring that out all the way. Oh, well, what did I do? Oh no, I just pushed that down more. Bring that all the way out like so. Straighten out the feet. They actually tab. There's a catch right here, so you go back and then bing, it locks into place. Then you can just rotate these around. These are going to sit up in the tire area just like so. This section here, you're going to fold this out, bring this down, and these tab over the back section like so. Make sure that you squish everything up. Then, like I said, I like how this actually solidly attaches when you use this. You take the gun, you put it in where the barrel's facing the front, and make sure you push that as far up as you can, and then you got the two little tabs on the sides that you can bring around and have her hands hold on to, and that secures her arms and her hands, which I think is great. Then you can take the other one. You can see how it's kind of offset, so what you're actually doing, you're putting the tab in that little oval right there, and then the handle is going to come down in this section, and then this little flat piece right here goes through that section, so everything fits in absolutely perfectly. And once you do for some reason this can detach, and sometimes it pops out like that. I don't know why, but it does. So just give that a push, get these back up in there. But once you're done doing that, there you have Arcee back in her vehicle mode. Now, as I said, Arcee has been a character that we've wanted in terms of a G1 representation for a very, very long time. And while I don't read the comics, I absolutely love the fact that they incorporated her in it, thus giving Hasbro a reason to make this figure finally. As simple as it is, it turned out terrific. The vehicle mode is a wonderful spot-on representation of that G1 character. From the beautiful pink color, the Autobot logo, you've got the nice powder blue, to this little fin thing right here. It nails it on all counts. Transformation is very simple, and there really isn't too much excitement doing it, but it's not a bad transformation. And the resulting robot mode just completes the look. Everything about that screams G1 and absolutely brings that character to us. I remember at BotCon when they finally announced this figure, the entire room erupted. And honestly, I really do believe that Hasbro delivered with this figure. So without a shadow of a doubt, I highly recommend picking this up. Now, Arcee will be hitting retail fairly soon. Or if you can't find her, there's always Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You go to Big Bad Toy Store, where you can pick her up and add her to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been OPTIBOTIMUS. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my my Facebook page at facebook.com/teambotimus, and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own OPTIBOTIMUS t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.